All right, in order to show this, I first want to start with an untracked connection. So I'm going to make an untracked connection to my compute engine. And it's untracked, I believe. I'm assuming this is an untracked connection because it's allowing SSH inbound. There's no deny action on any of the egress traffic, and so it doesn't need to track the connection. I'm assuming this just because of the behavior and the fact that the deny works, and then when I add in that egress blocking and it's tracked, it no longer works, which is the issue that we're dealing with. And from a security perspective, right, when you're trying to contain an asset, this is not logical or expected behavior. Yes, I understand there is connection tracking. I understand that AWS has similar behavior, but they do have published documentation on how to work around their tracking issues, and there are solutions, and I couldn't seem to find a solution for the Google Cloud. All right, so let me connect in here. I can make a connection to my compute engine because of this default allow SSH rule. And then if I add in a deny rule, let me just create a deny all ingress rule. Just apply it to all the instances. All ports, and create. And I try and type commands into the terminal, and it doesn't work. Now if I remove this rule, we'll see what happens. Sometimes it will reestablish the connection, sometimes it won't. All right, so deleting that rule. All right, it does come back after a period of time, which is fine. I deleted the rule. This is expected behavior. I can quarantine the asset. Whether the connection comes back is kind of irrelevant. I did remove the rule. In some providers it does come back, and some it doesn't. Sometimes in Google Cloud when I've been testing it does, and sometimes it doesn't. That's probably more of a protocol issue and how long I leave the rule in and how long it's been since I taken it out, that is causing that. But I added the deny and it actually denied. So now let me show you when this doesn't work. So in order to set that up, I'm going to go ahead and exit this SSH connection. I'm going to go back to my firewall rules, and I'm going to create a deny all egress rule. I'm going to change this to 1500 so I can show something else later. Change this to egress, say deny all instances, all addresses, all ports, just to make it easy. Deny all outbound. Now, there may be other ways of creating a tracked connection. Again, I'm making some assumptions here that this is forcing a tracked connection. That's the only way I can describe the behavior that I'm seeing. All right, now that I have that set up, when I connect, I can still connect just fine because I still have the ingress rule that allows it to stateful firewall, so it allows me to connect even though there's a deny all egress expected anticipated behavior. Where it gets a little unexpected is now if I go in and create a deny all ingress rule with the lowest priority here of 1000, and I'll keep it ingress, change this to deny all instances, all IP addresses, all ports, and create. So this is the behavior that you wouldn't expect. All right, now the deny gets added in there. I'm not sure why this comes in after the egress. Ultimately, they're separate. One's one direction, one's the other direction. Maybe denies for egress traffic are higher priority, even though the priority number's higher there. That doesn't necessarily matter, but I can still run commands inside of this compute engine, even though there's a deny all ingress rule. All right, so in AWS, how you resolve this issue is by adding an allow all IPs, all ports for inbound and outbound, and then you remove the rule that was causing the tracked connection, and then you remove the allows. And so that's what I'm going to do next. And I've tried this a variety of ways. Removing the denies, adding the denies later. I can't seem to break this connection ever once it's tracked. So that to me seems like an issue. A major issue if you're working on a case and there's some C2 connection to your servers. This is inbound, sometimes C2 would be outbound, but I can test from an outbound connection as well and see. I'm assuming that the behavior would be the same, and sometimes C2 traffic can be inbound, right? Sometimes they do get an inbound connection to your server. All right, so now that I'm connected, still connected, I've waited forever to see if this eventually goes away or those deny rules take effect. But what I'm going to do now is let me change the priority on this rule just so I can ensure that my allows happen before the denies. All right, I've changed that. Now I'm going to go add in some additional rules here. Allow all ingress, all instances, all IPs, all ports, create. Okay. And then I will do the same for egress. Allow all egress. No, all ports. All right. I'll allow all egress. Priority 1000. Okay, so what this does for in AWS, for the security groups in AWS, which I know, these aren't security groups, they're firewall rules on the VPC, but what it does in AWS is it converts them over to untracked connections. It's not going to block the traffic yet. I can still connect, which makes sense now. It didn't before because I had the deny rules only at the top of the list. Now I have allows above those, so it does make sense that I can connect. But I shouldn't have been able to connect before, barring some sort of issue with connection tracking where you have to convert them to untracked, which is what I'm trying to do here. But doesn't seem to allow it based on previous attempts to do this. All right, so now I've added in the rules that would potentially move this to an untracked connection. And if I go now and I remove my default allow SSH rule, go ahead and delete that. So no SSH. All right, the allow is still going to allow it. Now, I should just be able to delete this allow all ingress, and then the traffic should be blocked at that point because there's no SSH inbound. I'm coming from an external IP, just to confirm that. This is the IP I'm coming from, and so this internal rule will not apply because it's only associated with, we'll just go into it with this IP range here. But we can delete that too if we want to. All right, this default allow RDP, I'll go ahead and get rid of it. In fact, I'll just get rid of all of these just to make sure. All right, so now let me just confirm. Yeah, I can still get there, which is, there is this allow rule. And so now I'm gonna go ahead and delete that. I'll delete the ICMP too, which shouldn't make a difference at all. Still connected. Can still run commands. And again, I can sit here all day, and it'll stay connected. All right, there's one more allow on the list. It's for outbound, shouldn't matter. I'll go ahead and get rid of it. Should be all denies at that point. Both these are action deny. And I can still run commands. And it says by default incoming traffic from outside your network is blocked. So just for good measure, get rid of these deny rules, which should be denying traffic, but this will be an empty firewall rule list at this point for this VPC. So go ahead and delete these. Notice we don't have any network firewall policies. And this is the one thing I have not yet tried, and so we'll see if this, nope, still. All right, now that we've deleted everything, I guess we'll go and add back in a deny rule for ingress traffic, just to see if that does something. All right. Deny all instances. Well, actually, before we do that, well, this will be just a deny. I do want to show that it is actually denying new connections, which I haven't shown yet, but I've tried that at various stages in my previous tests, and it's always denied new connections. It's just the existing connections that it's not breaking, and I cannot find a way to break those, which seems problematic. All right, so I'll add the deny ingress. Did I get the IP ranges in there? Let me just check. Yeah, IP range is 0. All right, just because I haven't tried this before. All right. Let me spin up a new connection here and just show you that I can no longer connect to this server because it is denying new connections, just not allowing or not disconnecting the established connection. and see it's not connecting. Eventually this will time out. Just for the sake of the video, I'll wait for it to time out here. While we're waiting, I guess I'll try a couple more things. Let me go ahead and remove this rule. So that now we have an empty rule list again. Make sure I'm still connected. See what's going on here. Still not connecting to the server. All right, now I'm going to add in, just because I've never tried it with an empty list, allow all egress. All ports. Create that. Let's see if this is timed out yet. I'm going to add an allow ingress, which may cause this to connect. It depends on whether SSH will still connect when it's added in later. But if it does, then we'll know, hey, it wasn't connecting before until we added this. All right. All right, so the two allow all rules. Both directions. Okay, connection timed out. Good. So that timed out. That didn't work before. Now it should work because we have the allow alls both inbound and outbound. Go ahead. This is, again, a new window. Okay, yeah, that's working. That was expected. If we go back to the old session, though, we're still connected, which makes sense now. It just didn't before when we had no rules or deny rules in there. Okay, so now that I have both of those in there, this time, instead of creating denies, we'll just go ahead and delete these, which should be a default deny. Again, we're trying to get it converted to a tracked connection. So an untracked connection, so that then it goes away. Or find some way to kill this with security group, not security group rules, with firewall rules. Obviously, I could do things more drastic, like removing the public IP or doing something from the compute engine side, but it's counterintuitive, right, for an incident responder to go in there and add in denies to their firewall rules that are higher priority, or remove all the rules and have it behave this way, which is a huge security risk in my opinion. All right, that is now deleted. We'll go back to the original connection, all right, the one that is, this is the one that's you know, I'm assuming tracked, right? It's the one that I've been using the whole time. So no real way to get rid of these connections in the event that you need to break a connection to your compute engine.